Welcome back to the Cruise Ship Safety and Security channel. Join me as I dive deep into one of the most tragic maritime disasters in history, the Dona Paz tragedy. It's a story of overcrowding, negligence, and a fiery collision that turned the sea into an inferno. Buckle up, because this is a tale that will leave you wondering, how did this even happen? The Dona Paz was originally built in 1963 in Japan and was designed to carry around 600 passengers. But when it was sold to a Philippine shipping company, they apparently looked at that number and thought, that's just a suggestion, right? Because by the time it left port on December 20th, 1987, it had over 4,300 people packed on board. That's more than 7 times its original intended capacity. It wasn't just a ferry, it was practically a floating music festival, minus the fun. Now, if you're thinking, surely they had enough safety equipment for that many people. Oh, how I wish that were true. Life jackets, not enough. Lifeboats, also not enough. Passenger manifest? Let's just say it was about as accurate as a pirate's treasure map. Many of the people on board weren't even officially listed. So even before anything went wrong, this ship was already an accident waiting to happen. Oh, and because things weren't risky enough, let's talk about the cargo. The Dona Paz was carrying large amounts of goods, including, wait for it, flammable materials. Because what better way to ensure a safe journey than by packing an overcrowded ferry with potential fire hazards? Meanwhile, elsewhere on the water, the MT Vector was on its way, minding its own business, or so it seemed. This was an oil tanker, and what was it carrying? Oh, just 8,800 barrels of gasoline, diesel, and other highly flammable petroleum products. You know, just in case the sea wasn't dangerous enough already. Now, you'd think 2 vessels loaded with passengers and fuel would have extra precautions in place. Maybe some top-notch navigation, clear communication, and a little bit of common sense? But no. Instead, both ships found themselves heading straight toward each other in the middle of the night, in poor visibility, with no clear plan to avoid disaster. It's nighttime, the sea is dark, and visibility is low. Both ships are on a collision course, and this is the moment where anyone should have sounded an alarm. Someone should have said, "Hey, maybe we should turn." But that didn't happen. There were no evasive maneuvers, no emergency course corrections. Instead, the Dona Paz and the Vector kept going, like 2 cars playing chicken, except in this case the cars are the size of buildings, and one of them is basically a bomb on water. Then boom! The collision itself was bad, but what followed was beyond catastrophic. The moment the ships made contact, sparks flew. And when sparks meet thousands of barrels of petroleum? Well, let's just say it's not the kind of fireworks anyone wants to see. The Vector's cargo ignited instantly, sending flames shooting through the air. Within seconds, both ships were on fire. The water around them was on fire. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, hearing screams, running to the deck, and seeing nothing but flames on every side. That's what thousands of passengers faced. At this point, most people had 2 choices: stay on board and burn, or jump into the flaming water. Neither was a good option. Those trapped in the lower decks never even had a chance. Those who did make it to the upper decks found that there were no clear evacuation plans, no crew members directing people, and barely any lifeboats available. It was chaos. And let's talk about the crew for a second. In an emergency, you'd expect a well-organized effort, right? But reports suggest that most of the crew abandoned ship early on, leaving the passengers to fend for themselves. That's right. The very people who were supposed to help manage the crisis were nowhere to be found. The Dona Paz sank within 2 hours. The Vector followed soon after. And when the fire and the wreckage settled, over 4,300 people had lost their lives. Only 26 survived. Think about that. Out of thousands of people, only 26 made it. That's a survival rate so low, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Now you might be wondering, where were the rescue teams? Well, about that. Rescue efforts were slow, painfully slow. It took hours before authorities even realized what had happened. By the time ships arrived, Most of the survivors had already been floating in the water for hours, clinging to debris, waiting for help that seemed like it would never come. And here's the real kicker. The Vector wasn't even legally allowed to be operating. It didn't have a valid license. Yep, this floating firebomb wasn't even supposed to be on the water. And somehow it was still out there, carrying thousands of barrels of flammable cargo, heading straight for a ferry loaded with unsuspecting passengers. You can't make this stuff up. The Dona Paz disaster forced the maritime industry to take a serious look at safety regulations. Better training, stricter passenger limits, and improved emergency response protocols were introduced. But let's be real. Why did it take a disaster of this scale for people to realize that maybe, just maybe, we should stop putting thousands of people on unsafe ships with no proper safety measures? And even after all these changes, have we really learned? Because even today, overcrowding, poor safety standards, and reckless navigation are still issues in the maritime industry. Ships still cut corners, passenger safety is still ignored in some places, and disasters like this, they can still happen. So here's my advice. If you ever board a ship and something feels off, if it's overcrowded, if the safety drills are non-existent, if the crew seems clueless, maybe reconsider your travel plans. And if you ever find yourself on a ship that's heading straight for an oil tanker, well, let's just say that's your sign to get off. What do you think? Could this disaster have been avoided? Are today's maritime safety regulations actually enough? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into history's biggest maritime disasters, check out our other videos. Because sometimes, the best way to learn is by studying how things went terribly, terribly wrong. Before we finish, I'd like to take a moment to pause and remember the innocent lives lost in the Dona Paz disaster. Over 4,300 people, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, friends, tragically lost their lives that night. Let's take a brief moment of silence to honor their memory and reflect on the human cost of this devastating tragedy. May they rest in peace, and may their stories continue to remind us of the importance of safety at sea and the need to protect those who are most vulnerable. Stay safe out there,